Hello, students. Very good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are fine at your home and studying very hard for the board examinations. So, in this particular topic, that is principles of management, we are discussing about the principles of management, that is the general principles of management given by Mr. Henry Fayol. And in last lecture, we discussed up to the 12th principles of management, and today we are going to start with principle number 13 and end with principle number 14. Now, the 13th principle is initiative. As quality of entrepreneurship is necessary for industrialists, in the same way there should be quality of initiation in employees. Industrialists should provide such atmosphere that initiation may be encouraged. Due to initiation, strength of independent working in an employee develops and it increases their leadership quality. Now let us discuss about the initiative. As we all know that initiative means starting. It means the one who takes the first step towards any of the activity. In business organization, there are so many employees and workers are working, but out of them, the only one who takes charge or the only one who makes initiative is the best one. It is develop their skills and it will be helpful in completing any of the task or in the leadership of their activities. So let us start with this particular point, that is initiative. As quality of entrepreneurship is necessary for industrialists, it means whenever you want to start any of the business, today we are seeing so many industrialists and successful businessmen in our Indian economy. Like, first of all, I want to take the name of Ratan Tata, who is the very successful industrialist, then Mr. Mukesh Ambani, then Adi Godrej and Rahul Bajaj, and so many, even the bankers like Uday Kotak and Deepak Parikh, etc., are the successful businessmen. And for them, the quality of entrepreneurship is necessary because in any of the business organization, we require different quality from the idea of business to the successful implementation of that idea. So, the quality of entrepreneurship is necessary for industrialists because when we are working in any of the single area or in a particular business only, we are called as a businessman. But when we are working in more than one industry, then they are called as an industrialist. Like Ratan Tata having almost 10 to 15 different businesses. Mukesh Ambani is also in the same way. Adi Godrej, Rahul Bajaj, etc. are called industrialists. And entrepreneurship is necessary. It means they are taking some kind of calculative risk for starting and smoothly running of their business activities. First of all, the idea comes to their mind regarding starting of any of the business organization, or first of all the idea comes to in their mind regarding any of the new or innovative product. Then they are taking the charge of that particular idea and making all the efforts that will be successful in the business era. That's why the quality of entrepreneurship is necessary for industrialists. In the same way, there should be quality of initiation in employees. It means whenever the task is assigned to the person or whenever there is a general talk regarding any of the task or any of the work by the management, there should be the quality of initiation in employees. It means the one who take the charge of that particular activity and start the activity before anyone starts. So, as the quality of entrepreneurship is necessary for industrialists who are the volunteers in their business activity and they are successfully running their business. Same way, the quality of initiation in employees is also necessary. It means whenever there is a different task or challenging task is there, there are some of the person who take the initiative. Next, industrialists should provide such atmosphere that initiation may be encouraged. In any of the industry or any of the factory or any of the organization, the person, the manager, the industrialist, the owner should provide such atmosphere that initiation may be encouraged. It means whether it is the starting of any of the new business or expansion of a business or modernization of business or introduction of any of the product, they should encourage the initiation from the employees. It means they involve the efficient employees in the decision making process. So it is the first requirement for initiative that industrialist or the business owner should provide such atmosphere that initiation may be encouraged. It means they are providing a particular atmosphere where the employees are able to give their reviews and they contribute in the success of the business unit. So here they should be asked regarding their point of view on any of the new product development or new business startup or expansion or modernization or in any of the activities that is existing in the business unit. Due to initiation, strength of independent working in an employee develops. It means once you providing them with a full power that they can start or they can quit the activities by themselves, it means there is a flexibility in any of the business activity, or there should be some kind of respect of their ideas in the organization. Strength of independent working, it means now they are not dependent on your decision, now they are taking decision by themselves, which are in the benefit or in the favor of the success of organization. So due to initiation, it means once you are giving them a power that they can take the decision there by their own, the strength of independent working in an employee develops. It means now they are able to take their decision by their own, and whenever they thinks fit that some of the particular decision taken by them is in the favor of business organization, then they can start it and increase their leadership quality, because today's employee is tomorrow's leaders. So when once due to initiation the strength of independent working in an employee develops and it increases their leadership quality. It means there is let us take one example. There is one executive who are working under the manager. At some point of time, manager is giving the freedom to the executive that they can take decision in the limited sense whenever it thinks fit. So now the executive is leading the whole team on behalf of that particular manager or leader. Once upon a time it may happens that the manager is out of city for some of the reason, and now the responsibility lies on the executive that he has to take decision in the favor of business organization. Now he has to lead the whole team on behalf of the manager. He successfully lead the team for the time period up to the manager comes back. So it is the duty of that executive, or we can say it is the benefit of initiative, that once he is taking independent decision, it becomes efficient for him to take decision in the favor of business organization, and it creates the leadership quality in that particular executive. So by this way, in the future time, the promotion of that particular executive is also because of this leadership quality, and it is in the benefit of the organization too. Now finally let us move towards the 14th and last principle of the Henry Fayol, or we can say the general principles of management, that is esprit de corps or feeling of oneness. So success of an industrial unit lies in mutual relation of managers and employees. Hence, there should be harmony in both classes. Managers should generate group feeling among employees. If all employees will work together, then achievement of goals becomes easy. So, Henry Fayol is also in the favor of the feeling of oneness. This principle is same as or similar to the principle of equality also, because in equality we discussed that there is the feeling of oneness among the employees is necessary. So here means in equality it was the part of the management that management should treat all the employees in the same way. It means there is no prejudice or biasness amongst the employees when they are taking any kind of formal or informal decision. While here esprit de corps, that is feeling of oneness, suggests that there should be the equality amongst the employees. It means there should be equality amongst the peers and colleagues when they are working for the success of business unit. So let us start with the theory part. Success of an industrial unit lies in mutual relation of managers and employees. It means in any of the industrial unit, when manager and employees are working together, then and then the business will be succeed, or we can say the task of particular business unit will be completed or successfully completed or fulfilling when they are working together. As we have already discussed in the scientific principles of management given by F.W. Taylor, that there are two class of people lies in any of the industrial unit. One is a manager or a business owners, and second one is the employees or workers. So any of the business industrial unit is success when there will be mutual relation of manager and employees in the business unit. And when there is a mutual relation amongst them, there should be harmony in both the classes. Harmony means there is a proper chain or proper relationship which will result into the highest success of business unit, or we can say in any of the business unit the motto of that particular business unit is that together we achieve more. So for any of the industrial units the mutual relation among manager and employees are necessary, and that's why the employees should focus that we are amongst the one of them who are at the top level, or they are feeling that as we are working together, each one's contribution in the business unit is necessary and they are contributing their maximum efforts in the favor of business unit. Now let us move forward. Managers should generate group feeling among employees. As we all know, because as we are studying in a classroom also, that there are different kind of peoples are besides us. Like many of our colleagues, those who are working or studying with us, behave differently, or their nature and behavior is different. Sometimes it may happen some of the persons are rude to us, while some of the persons are very helpful to us. In the same way, in business organization, when they are working in a team, all the employees and workers are behaving differently because of their nature is also different. There are some of the person who are very angry, while some of the person who are very helpful to each other. And it is very difficult task for manager to maintain harmony when you are working in a group. It is called the diversity amongst the employees. The diversity on the basis of race, age, sex, ethnicity, or we can say demographic behavior is also there. So here when we are working in a group and the different persons are behaving differently or their nature is also differently, then also the manager should generate group feeling among employees. It means there is a proper command through or we can say there is a proper explanation regarding the oneness by different seminars, workshops, get together, formal meetings, informal meetings, etc., which creates the harmony amongst them. As all of us are knowing that our army is made of different regiments, and in different regiments, different people from different states with different behavior, with different nature, and with different working style are there in the military. But when we are fighting against any of the enemy outside the country or with the enemy country, then we are getting together or working as an Indian army. So same way, the manager should maintain the diversity amongst the employees, and he has to generate the group feeling among employees that we all are at the same position and each one's contribution in the business organization is utmost necessary. Likewise, in our school also, if you are thinking that the school is different from business organization, so it is not the same case. But as per my opinion, the school is the first training school of your business, because from school you are knowing so many persons and you are knowing so many functions that are working in the organization also. Like we are having your class teachers, then subject teachers, then assistant teachers, then principal, and your coordinator, and same time all those who are working at a lower level like sweeper, caretaker, etc. So all these persons consist a single team, and each one's contribution in the success of your result is at most needed. It means if any of the person who is not contributing in the team efforts, then the team will be lacking or there is no success of business organization. So here it is the responsibility of manager to generate the group feeling among employees when they are different in their natures and working patterns. Now let us move forward. If all employees will work together, then achievement of goal becomes easy. It is common phenomena that if 2 or 3% from the group are not working properly, then the burden of that 2 or 3% will be lies on the other people who are working very diligently in the organization. So it is the responsibility of the manager that he can monitor that all the employees will work together, because if they are not taking care regarding all these activities, then the work will suffer and finally the organization will suffer. So if all employees will work together, then achievement of goal becomes easy, because now each one is knowing their role in the success of business activities and they are contributing their maximum for the achievement of their goal easily. So finally, here we are completing all the 14 principles of Henry Fayol. Now let us take the conclusion part, or what the Henry Fayol wants to say about his 14 different principles. Henry Fayol said that above list is not last list of management principles. It means this is not the last and fullest list of all the principles that we are using in our daily routine of the business activities. Managers can add new principles based on their experience, research and knowledge. Sometimes it may happen that we are working in an organization and we are facing a different kind of situation when we are working in a business organization, and it may happen that the same problem can be viewed from the different point of view when different managers are facing them or try to solving them. So managers can add new principles. It means amongst all these 14 principles, there is a chance that some of the principles are known with the different names, or we can say there will be some of the subparts of that particular principles that is maintained, or we can say created by the manager based on their experiences. All these principles are the work of the experience of Henry Fayol only. It means when he was working in a particular business unit for a longer period of time, he has faced some of the situations, some of the conditions, and some of the problems and errors. And to get out from all of them, or we can say to move away from all that problems and situation, he has created this 14 principle based on his experience. Same way, when manager is working for a longer period of time in any of the business unit, he can add new principles based on their experience. Sometime through research, it means as we are dealing with the humans and the human behavior is totally uncertain, we cannot predict the actual behavior of human in any point of a time, because in different situation they are behaving differently. So through conducted different research and knowledge, the managers can adopt new principles also, and these principles can be implemented in all kind of activities like business, economic, political, and social. Lastly, Henry Fayol says that these principles can be implemented not only in business, but it also implemented in all kind of activities like business, because we discuss all these 14 principles of management on the basis of only business point of view. That's why it can be implemented in business. In economics also, when we are working for the success of our economy or for the success of a country whole, then we can use this 14 principle, because as we all see that different activities are divided among different persons, and there is a unity of command as we are in the central economic planning system, and each and every principle, or we can say the majority of the principles, are applied to economic. In political also, in political setup of India, we are also seeing some kind of principles of management given by Henry Fayol is implemented, and in our social organization also we are dealing with these principles of management. Now, before moving forward, that is the last point of the contribution of Peter F. Drucker in the field of management, let us have a glimpse or one look at the all 14 principles, so that you can easily remember all these points and it will be helpful in your examination too. So first of all, we are having the list, but as we are going to discuss very quickly, so we are not going to list out these principles, but in your examination you have to remember all these points. First one is a division of work, in which the Henry Fayol is in favor that if we want to take a higher productivity from the employees or to get the optimum use of products and equipments, the division of work is necessary. That will increase the efficiency of employees and manager, and by this way we will get the benefit of principle of specialization. Second one is authority and responsibility. Basically, power and responsibility are two sides of a coin. When a person is assigned a responsibility for some job, at the same time power assignment is also essential, and the power is assigned on different parameters like post of employees, knowledge, qualification, experience, art of leadership, maturity, etc. Then third principle is a discipline. Discipline creates certain kind of harmonious environment, and industrial discipline established by certain kind of rules and code of conduct, and as a result governance takes place in unit. It means when the business organization is very large and a single person or group of people is not able to focus on each and every activity of that particular business organization, then through discipline they can maintain a business unit very successfully. And supervision, clear and appropriate contract between worker and owner, and appropriate implementation of punishments at every level are important for implementation of discipline. Then fourth one is a unity of command. It means the employee are not able to follow orders from more than one superior, and if it is done so, then it creates confusion among the employees and industrial discipline cannot be maintained. So that employee should get order from only one superior for any job or activity, and he has only the following of that particular person. That is, the one superior can give orders to the employees. Then in fifth, unity of direction, there is a particular group of people or one superior employee or group. This group should be doing job for only one purpose, and that purpose is to give direction to the employees. It means if deviations are found during planning, it means the work is not done according to the targets, then direction and guidance is provided by this group of peoples. Then sixth one is a subordination of individual interest to general interest. As we all know that management is a collective activity. When more than two persons are engaged in any of the business activity, then management is necessary. So there should be proper coordination between persons and departments. Here this principle shows that interest of individual or employee group should be considered as subsidiary against the interest of whole unit. It means common interest should be prominent. It means the common interest should be given priority, and individual interest is on a subsidiary or secondary matter when there is a success of the whole unit is in the priority list. Then seventh one is a remuneration of personnel. Remuneration means return that is going for the services provided by employees, and according to this principle, remuneration means return of employees should be suitable. Ideal payment of wages make strong relationship between owner and employees, and when it is the talk of efficient employees, the more wages can compensate their work, and promotional schemes like bonus, profit sharing, representation in managerial committee should be implemented so that we can get the maximum use of the skilled workers. Next, principle number 8 is a centralization. If powers are not delegated to any of the group, then it is called centralization. And when to make the best use of employee strength, principle of centralization should be adopted. It means when we want to take the maximum benefit of employee strength, then principle of centralization is must. But remember one thing, that centralization is applicable only in small size units, while in medium and large size units we require a decentralization process. Ninth one is a scalar chain. Scalar chain, it means some kind of chain that moves from top level to bottom level and from bottom level to top level. It means the power and authority moves from top level to bottom level through middle level, while the responsibility moves from bottom level to top level through middle level. And as per this principle, the employee working in unit should be aware of who is responsible to whom, and proper work should be done. 10th one is the order. Order means some kind of sequence. This principle is based on two parameters. First one is raw material. It means the raw material should be at its appropriate place. It means whenever there is a talk of raw material, it should be available at appropriate place at appropriate time. And while in the social system, skilled employees should also be placed at right place, and there should be proper arrangement for recruitment of suitable employees at suitable place. 11th one is equality. As we all know that employees are human beings, so practical approach should be adopted to handle them, and there should be appropriately and uniformly behavior from the manager is advisable, and sometimes it may happen that the equality should be established by way of informal way instead of legal or traditional way. 12th one is a stability of personnel tenure. Tenure means time period. So as we all know that permanent and stable employees are the invaluable asset of any business unit, and if the stable employees are contributing in a business unit, it contributes in the achievement of goal of the business unit, and his knowledge of system result into more productivity and also decrease labor turnover rate. We have already discussed two examples in this particular point. Then last two principles which we discussed today itself. First one is the initiative. That means the quality of initiative is necessary in employees, as the industrialist should provide such atmosphere that initiation may be encouraged, and due to that strength of independent working in an employee develops and it increases their leadership quality. We have already discussed one of the proper example regarding this. And lastly, esprit de corps or feeling of oneness. In any of the industrial unit, their success lies in mutual relationship of managers and employees. And manager, it is the responsibility of manager to generate the group feeling among employees. And if all employees will work together, then achievement of goal becomes easy. So these are the 14 principles given by Henry Fayol, and lastly he said that these are not the exhaustive list of the management principles. Managers can add new principles based on their experience, research and knowledge also. Last but not least is the contribution of Peter F. Drucker in the field of management. We will discuss in next lecture, and along with that I will give you the glimpse of whole chapter, and we will discuss which of the management of principles of management is very important from your final examination purpose. Thank you very much, class.